Hi, I'm Valerie Varan, licensed professional counselor and an advocate for quantum psychology. And so, no wonder I'm a spiritual experiencer who is so excited today to talk again to Dr. Doug Matzke, who's a quantum engineer. And in our part 1 and 2 videos, he talked to us about bit physics and the way it structures space-time. Today, Doug has agreed to lead us through a chakra entanglement meditation. So I'm so excited about that. And this is something you can do for individuals or for groups. For any basically practitioners out there, as you watch Doug, think of it as if someone wants to experience maybe their higher self, or if they really have done meditation but never tried to find their expanded self, this is a way for your clients to feel that. So enjoy. Doug, anything you want to say about this meditation before you lead me through it as your guinea pig?
Well, I'm looking forward to your feedback about this and other people's feedback. And this was an inspired meditation for me, and I've done it with a variety of people over the time, and it really works really well in groups. So just get your group together, put them in a circle, and it'll create a spherical energy when we're all done. And the key is that most people think meditation is being quiet and little action going on, but this is actually going to be amplifying the chakras and the prana and build it up so that you actually have a visceral experience with it, which is good because then you know it's real. And most people don't realize that it really is real, and so believe it, and this will help turn it into reality for you. So with that, we can start.
And we did finish. We did turn off the wish device that we talked about in the previous videos, but this will make sure that we're really just doing the meditation itself. Okay, shall I close my eyes to begin?
Sure, yeah, everybody can.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths, 2 or 3 deep breaths, cleansing breaths. And one of the things that we realize that the chakras are all aligned on the nervous system, on the spine, and they're like stacked like little beads on top of each other. And think of it as a circuit. I'm an electrical engineer, so I think of it as a circuit, and I want the energy to flow from the sky down through the chakra system, down to the earth. Okay, and generally these little chakras are like little valves that are, most of the time, they're kind of shut off, especially the heart chakra for a lot of people. And so what we're going to do is literally go through each chakra and sort of like turn the valve on, spin it up. Okay, and then we'll go to the next one and next one. Okay, and but we'll start with grounding first, just because if we're going to start building this energy up, we want it to. It's not like the chakra system is like a battery. No, it's more like a river. Things are flowing through it, and the more that it flows through it, the smarter you are, if you want to think about it, because it's not like a battery. Like I said, it's a river. So we want to get that chakra flowing through you, and that becomes the new norm for you. So that's where we're heading, the new norm for you, which is a larger flow chakra energy, prana energy flowing through the chakras. Okay, so imagine now that you have roots growing out of the bottom of your feet, and have them go down into the earth, and realize the earth is several thousand miles deep. So don't just have them go down a little bit. Go down all the way. Imagine you're going down, 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 all the way to the center of the earth. And they wrap around the hot molten core of the center of the earth. And the earth loves to take all the stuff that you don't want anymore and ground it. That's what we mean by grounding. Okay. And if you're doing this right, your feet almost feel like they're stuck on the ground right now. So amplify that feeling and keep breathing. And take deep, slow breaths in and out, balance in and out. Deep breaths. Through your mouth. If you can't, that's okay, through your mouth, yeah. And ground and keep grounding. Okay. Now, we're taking the first chakra, which is at the base of the spine, chakra number 1, and it's red. And you can imagine that each chakra is like a little vortex, a little tornadoes coming off the front of each chakra, off the spine. And so we're going to think of that as a little pinwheel, a little vortex of pinwheel. And so as we breathe in, we're going to take a breath in and imagine the breath is coming into that chakra. It's a red one. And as we breathe in, it spins faster and faster, whichever is the appropriate direction for you. So we're going to take 3 big breaths. And as we breathe each time, we're going to have the breath breathe in. We're breathing in through our mouth, but imagine the breath coming into that chakra as well. It's spinning it faster. And it's going to be a little red ball that we're going to spin faster and faster. A little, the kid's little spinner for a kid, or a little vortex, however you want to visualize it. A little ball, and spin it faster and faster. With 3 breaths. Each time you breathe in, it's going to spin faster. And it has no friction. So once it starts going, it'll just keep going. And that one's the red one. Now we're going to move up to the second chakra. And we're going to do like the guy on Ed Sullivan who had all the plates on the sticks. We're going to actually do parallel computing here. We're going to do both chakras at the same time, the red one and the orange one above it, the second chakra. And we're going to spin both of them. So breathe in, and this time we're going to spin into both of them. And the red one and the orange one are both spinning faster. Several big breaths, and they're spinning. And they should just visualize a little blur ball of spinning faster and faster. Okay. And now we're going to go and add the third chakra, which is yellow, which is right in the stomach area. It's below the chest bone. And we're going to spin that with 3 big breaths, yellow, spinning yellow. And so we're spinning the red and the orange and the yellow. And we're doing that in parallel. So it's not just, we're not shifting our attention between one or the other. We're doing them all simultaneous. This practices your parallel computing of thought. Okay, that should be your third breath, and they should be spinning little balls of light, red, orange, and yellow. And now we're going to go to the heart chakra, which is the middle of the chest. And it's the green, emerald green one. And you're going to get it to spin. But one of the things you have to do when you're working with the heart chakra is you want to activate it even more than just spinning. You want to activate it by doing some kind of appreciation or love or joy. So whichever one of those words is best for you, feel a feeling such that you get a smile on your face. If you can get to the experience of where you're smiling, then you know there's a relationship between the state you're in and your face. So that's kind of a little feedback system. So now imagine breathing in 3 times. Green one, put that smile on your face. Think of your loved one, appreciation of the person that you know, your family member, birth of a child, whatever. And that should literally put a smile on your face. Figure out what that is for you. And keep breathing, a couple of breaths. And now we're doing red, orange, yellow, and green all at the same time. So imagine like the breath comes in and it's making him spin all faster. And a reminder to ground, because now your feet should really be starting to tingle. Because guess what? You have more energy flowing through you because these chakras are now more activated. And especially your heart chakra is your biggest one. It's the biggest one that most people have closed out. So anytime you start doing chakra meditations like this, always ground. So not only are you breathing in, and you're at the same time grounding at the same time. So it's concurrent thought. And if you have to start adjusting your spine so that it's more erect and more straight, please do so, because your body's going to want to do that. So those four are all spinning merrily away, stacked on top of each other, little balls of light spin away with each breath. Now we're going to add the blue one, the fifth chakra, which is the throat chakra, and we're going to, it's a deep blue. And as we spin that one too, we're going to spin all five of them up to this point. 3 breaths. And ground. And sit erect if you want to make it even feel energy flowing more easily. And now we're going to do the third eye, which is indigo, which is like the color of blue jean, more of that color of blue. And you're going to breathe that in also, and a little ball of indigo light. So you're breathing in that one, and you're breathing in the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and indigo all at the same time. So big breath, all 6 of them. It's almost like there's a fan in front of you blowing all of these to spin them faster as you breathe in. Okay. And now the chakra at the top of your head, which is violet, crown chakra. And we're going to get it to spin. So 3 breaths, get it to spin, and then we'll do a couple more integration breaths. So they're all spinning. Essentially, we've opened up the valves for all the chakras one at a time. Now we're breathing in so that as we breathe in, all the chakras are spinning a little bit more faster than they were before, just a bit faster than they were before. And they're all spinning with each breath. And then we'll add one more above the head, above the crown chakra, which is the Gaia chakra, if you want to call it that way. Sky chakra. It's the one above the head, and it's kind of a golden color. So we'll just add that 8th one here for this purpose of this meditation. And keep grounding. You should feel a tangible difference in how you feel as a result of where we've gotten so far already. So just be aware of that. And your breath should feel easier now, each breath. Because the air actually contains prana. So you're actually using the breath to stimulate the chakras from the prana in the air. That's what it does. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take, they're all spinning, and we're going to take a 3 deep breaths in a row. And as we do, we're going to make each chakra big enough so it touches the one above it. Okay, so we're going to inflate them, these little chakra balls, so they inflate to be bigger than they were before, and they're going to touch the one above it. So take 3 deep breaths and inflate them. Inflate the balls of the chakras, and they're spinning just as fast as they were before, and they're just bigger. Okay, we've just created a coupled quantum state. They're just touching each other. And to make them even more coupled, we're going to keep expanding them so that they overlap 50% with the one above it. So expand them even farther. So the red overlaps the orange overlaps the yellow, and vice versa, and it overlaps the green, and they're spinning and overlapping, and they're bigger. Just start feeling a calm as a result of this. And even the gold chakra at the top is overlapping with the crown chakra. Okay, we're going to take a couple more breaths, and this time we're going to have them all be grow to be the size of the torso. So they're all going to be overlapping all the colors, and the walls are going to keep increasing in size. So they're all slightly bigger than the size of the torso, and they're all about the same size. So keep inflating them. Inhale. So now imagine there's a big balloon of all the colors of the chakras, the size of your torso. And what color would that be? Well, it'd be all the color of the rainbow plus gold. So it's a golden white light. So imagine you have this golden white balloon of energy, and it's all spinning. And keep grounding and keep that appreciation, because this should feel good. And then we're going to do one more inhale, 3 more inhales, and we're going to have them be as big as your whole body. So enlarge them again, so that's the size of a golden white balloon, the size of your whole body rather than just your torso. So even if you're sitting there, just imagine it's the size of your whole body. Inhale and inflate. So now we have the chakras completely coupled and in superposition with each other. They're no longer acting as one. They're acting like a single and super coupled in superposition quantum state of thought. And you say, well, is that entangled? Well, entanglement is a very specific state that we use to measure if something is coupled and in this large quantum state like this, coupled quantum state. We use entanglement to say, well, we can detect that it has a non-local effect. Well, these states are all outside of space-time anyhow, so they're already in a non-local mechanism, a non-local way to get them coupled. So it's just a vocabulary difference here, whether they're entangled or not. So keep breathing, appreciation, and grounding. Okay, and so at this point here, the energy is so palpable for me that my eyes are starting to water. What does that mean? For me, anytime the energy flows big in me, like if I'm doing therapy or meditation or anything, if I'm working with other people, all of a sudden my eyes start watering. That's a visceral feedback to me that energy is flowing from me. And so you may have a different one for yourself. One person I know gets burps every time they have energy flowing. So whatever it is for you, just pay attention. It might be a feeling in one part of your body, or it might be like me, your eyes. And my eyes are watering right now because of what we're doing. So now what we're going to do is imagine your group with me. It's going to be Valerie and I, and imagine that we're sitting facing each other, which we are virtually. And so we're going to expand this non-local field. It's non-local because it's in the quantum realm. And so we're just going to enlarge it. We're going to keep taking more breaths and enlarge it to include a sphere big enough to include us both, as though we were sitting in front of each other. So take a couple breaths. Inhale, enlarge. And we're going to include Valerie and I right now, but we're also going to include anybody else who's on this meditation, as in this big virtual group, as a big circle around us. Okay. And since it's outside of time, we're connecting with those even in the future who watch this. And keep it spinning. We're breathing, and we're going to keep breathing in. It's enlarged, but as we breathe in more and more, we're filling the balloon. Even though we've increased the size, we are increasing its density as well. So keep breathing. Prana comes in. It increases the density in the balloon. It's sort of like a boundary for it, the balloon, energy balloon, golden white light, and it's spinning. And now we're going to be even more volitional about the spinning. We're going to have the spinning around us in the circle, like the equator. But we're also going to have it spinning up the outsides. So it looks like a torus or a donut. And it goes down the middle, in the middle of the group, and out the outside. So it's spinning in two directions, around the equator. And imagine it spinning like a donut or a torus or an apple with the core is out of it, however you want to imagine that. And it's spinning in both directions simultaneously. And keep breathing in. It's still, density is increasing with each breath. And at this point, your mouth, you almost have to have your mouth open. And so as you breathe in, you actually feel almost a menthol flavor of the prana coming in through your breath, and this coolness. And that's your awareness of the prana as it's coming in. So as it's spinning, density, and all the people around us are all interacting as well. So we have one big, large, coupled quantum state that's connecting all of the people who are on this meditation. And at this point, if you pick up your arm and move it through this energy ball, you actually feel like the hair on your arms feeling something. This is the tangible, visceral perspective that I was telling you earlier about, that it was hard to explain beforehand. But it's because you're in an energy ball and your energy being has its awareness, and you experience it as if it's the hair on your arm standing on it. So we're actually interpreting the experience of the mental auric awareness as though it's a physical representation on our skin and our arm. And this is what happens when people get a chill or something like that. They actually feel like their hair stands on it. Well, this is a visceral response to energy. So here you actually can experience it, and everybody should be able to feel this. It's like you're moving through thick water. It feels thick. And this is the visceral experience I was trying to get you. And to me, I'm a swimmer, and that's exactly what it feels like to me. And so do that as often as you want. And just play with it. You can just sit in the state and just play with it. Now we're going to do one more thing. And we're going to do this just for as long as you want. But we'll just do it for a short time here. This state we're in is so stable that now, and you just keep breathing to keep it pumped up. Keep grounding, keep the appreciation going. My tears, my eyes are still watering. Now you can actually stand up, and this is a stable feeling. So you can stand up, and you can do the same thing. This field is stable. Just keep your balance. Make sure you keep your balance, because it's might feel a little wonky at first. Stable, and you could stay in the state if you need to for a while. Okay. And walk around your room in this state and just keep it going for half an hour if you want, right? So we're gonna stop the walking part right now so we can get to the last part. So if you want to sit back down again or whatever. And so for those of you who want to play with that some more, you can realize that it's a pretty stable state. Why is it stable? Because it's like the universe is stable. You've just created a coherent, conditioned space that it's outside of time. It doesn't dissipate right away. It's just going to stay there until your energy, normally your chakras are going to go back to the old state they were, and they won't allow that state to contain. So it'll eventually go back to the normal homeostasis that you have for your energy field. But here's a way of building your energy field so that it's visceral, real, and you're smarter in that state than you would be normally. Okay. So you want to be in a loving state. You don't want this to be in a negative state. So I would recommend using this to get out of negative states, but try to get out of the negative state before you get in here, because all you're doing is law of attraction. You're attracting more. So that's why you want to be in the loving state for this. Okay. Okay, we're going to do one last thing at the end here. Take a couple more deep breaths. The energy's flowing. You have this toroid around us. Spin it some more. Breathe in. Make it more dense. The energy balloon. And now we're going to ask if you have any spirit guides, higher self, your higher self, any messages from loved ones. If there's anybody who wants to join us in this, it's going to be easier for them to connect with you in this state, so you can ask. No living people, please, just non-corporeal beings, if we want to call it that. So ask them to join us in the sphere. And then I'm going to be quiet for a couple minutes. Ask them if they have any message for you. And in this state, you will be able to be more receptive and clear-minded about what that message might be. And take note of the messages you receive and who you talk with. And this will be telepathic, probably, various, either visual or auditory, or just knowing. Okay? Ask, and you shall receive, as they say. Keep breathing, smiling, and grounding. Valerie looks so peaceful, I don't hate to disturb her. But what we're going to do is, you can do this anytime you want, right? So what we're going to do is just close it off. Thank whoever came and greeted you, and higher self, your spirit guides, or deceased beings, deceased relatives, or whatever. Thank them for the messages. Keep breathing. Appreciation. Now we're going to start exhaling. And this time we're going to kind of just invert the process. We're going to, as we exhale, we're going to essentially deflate the balloons in size. So they can be dense, but we're going to just decrease the size so they're smaller. So what started out as this big energy balloon that includes the whole group. We're going to take a couple inhales, and as we exhale, we're going to imagine them just shrinking down back to the size of our torso. Three breaths down to the size of our torso, or size of our body, excuse me. And then third breath. Now let's do 3 more breaths. Still appreciation, still grounding. Deflate the size of it. It's just not deflating, it's just changing the size of it down to the size of our torso again. Remember, this is our combined quantum coupled chakras. So they're all acting as one. They're not working independently. They're all working together. Unified whole. Okay, and then we're going to just say, okay, we're just going to do an exhale, and we're just going to say, go back to a size that's appropriate for the end of this meditation, and then eventually they'll return back to the size you normally have them at. But the more you practice it, you may have a new default size for some of this, your energy body and your energy balloon. So a couple more exhales. Start moving your hands and fingers. Keep grounding them. You're going to want to drink water. And you've just cleansed yourself a whole lot, right? You've stirred up all this quantum thought, this prana, and you've like set it all down like a vacuum cleaner down into the earth. The earth took it all. And so you're going to feel different. And so, be kind to yourself, drink some water. Don't try to drive right away. And then if you want to take notes about what happened, please do so you can remember. Because our thoughts and our memories are tied to our emotional state. So if we're in this emotional, energetic state here that includes emotion of joy and love, when we get not back in the state anymore, we won't be able to tap into the memory we were in just now. So take notes if you want to leave yourself message in a bottle as you exit. And then with that, when you're done writing, I'll ask Valerie to do any final comments or feedback.
Giving the group just a few more moments to come back to the space, to finish any thoughts that they might want to write down. Taking a sip of water. And then as we're opening our eyes, noticing that this is such a stable energy that even as we open our eyes and even as Doug and I start talking, we can maintain this state. We can continue to feel it.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it. I don't think my chakras ever like to shrink down. What I noticed is, for me, as soon as we were spinning red to orange, they all went doo, 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 and they all
skipped ahead.
they skipped ahead. They went to gold right away. And
cool, that's neat.
Yeah, it was nice to just just be a breathing orb of iridescence and gold and multicolors. And it's interesting how many of the viewers, like, I actually appreciated that you weren't giving direction as to which direction to spin. Whether it was when you were doing the individual chakras or when you were even starting to do it in the torus. And then, of course, you were putting all the directions in there. But it would be interesting to note how many people felt that, was it going this way for them? Was it going this way for them? I would just invite the viewers to just notice. Yeah. And a lot of times if a healer is looking at a client, if it's spinning in a clockwise direction, it tends to be and use this loosely, viewers, but it tends to be a direction where whatever state we're going into, it is going more in that direction. And when a healer notices that things are going in a counterclockwise direction, it tends to be undoing something. So a lot of times our negative energy, our negative emotions can be unwound by a healer or, and then like our positive states and this amazing states of unconditional love can be stabilized, ground in, if you will. However, healers will also notice that some people have their polarity reversed, and then that's another topic. So I just love that you allowed people just to notice whatever they noticed.
Yeah.
For me,
so you, besides you jumping ahead, what else did you experience?
Well, before that, right? I think before we were even starting to ground, or maybe even right when you said, let's go ahead and notice our feet on the ground. And then you went to, roots and make sure we go to the core. Like as soon as you mentioned the feet, my left hand started really buzzing or electrifying in a certain way. And then as soon
vibrating, maybe vibrating.
I guess the word tingly,
there you go,
captures the crispness of it.
Yeah.
There was a crispness to it. And when we were talking about then the feet and starting to actually put the mind towards grounding, my feet very much were tingling before you even said, perhaps your feet might be tingling. Mine definitely were tingling. And then my roots went right to the core, but that's probably because I've trained them to go there before. So they went straight to the core. They love going to the core. And what was interesting is then when you took us to the red chakra and we were spinning that more, even by itself, it's interesting how much heat I was generating in that part of my body. And so as those orbs, as the red chakra orb was starting to meld with the orange and the heat was so noticeable for me. It would be interesting as viewers watch this, like you said, non-locally in the future, but they are with us now. It'll be interesting to see what comments they write down, like what were they experiencing. We definitely are inviting them to notice that. And we might definitely help people realize that there, maybe situations where they might have to check with their healthcare providers about various kinds of meditations before they get in. But this one is definitely a beautiful one to really feel how big and robust and non-local we are. What were your thoughts as far as leading all of us in meditation?
I could really feel a big group in, and I as I was doing it, all of a sudden you and I had like dozens of people in our circle, and then all of a sudden there were rings and rings and rings of people all on the outside of it. Us, just kept going. Yeah, it just kept going and going and going. And so, when people do group meditations, like, TM people, and they go into a city and they have the square root of 1% of the meditators there in that city, the crime rate goes down. This is why, because this state creates a coupled superposition state of all of the thinkers at one time. Where else do we ever have that kind of everybody in the same state at the same time? Rock concerts, meditation camps, stuff like that. So music is a way of doing that, but you don't have to have the music to do it. You can just do it with thought, because thought is by definition distributed, not in space and time, and you just have to direct it to be coupled. And here we did that with this pure, no electromagnetics involved, just pure thought and intention.
Electromagnetics are the side effects.
Yeah. If there is an electromagnetic. Oh, by the way, when I did this one time with a lady, a friend of mine who used to live in Florida, she's passed away now. I met her at the Monroe Institute. We did this, just the two of us. We were laying on the ground in her house, and all of a sudden, as we did it, two things happened. The cat jumped on us. The cat was attracted to us. And we reset the power in her house. The power went, and then everything came back up again. So is there an electromagnetic side effect? Well, she was a powerful being, spiritual being. Okay. So no surprising. And the reason why, when we did it with her, she was starting to say, well, I was getting a headache. And so I said, well, here, just shift the energy to your feet instead of from your head. As soon as she did that, that's when the power reset. So whatever she did, she like normalized herself, and then the power resetting her off. So like I said, don't do this while driving. Don't driving afterwards. Realize there can be side effects in the physical reality. Dogs and animals like this, they'll be attracted. And so just be aware of what can happen as a result of this.
Yeah, I love that. And, just noticing the effects that we have. And like you said, setting time aside for being able to do this, but just make sure we're not doing it, like you said, while we're driving. I know when we were in Gold, not quite, I was trying to keep myself from going out of body. That's probably a little strong of a phrase, but
You're trying to stay here, yeah.
It was definitely where it was so easy for me to shift where I would not have had any awareness here at all. But obviously I needed to be here. And so I could feel myself working to keep myself here, if you will. But what's so beautiful is for all the viewers who are doing this at any time at home. And of course, they can replay this as often as they want. And so they're going to be able to enjoy those times where I invite them to not be afraid to the larger that their sphere, and boy, is my crown tingling right here, but the bigger that their sphere is getting, viewers, just notice that you might get to a point where you lose all awareness of anything physical, of anything of your ego. And that's the state that most energy healers enjoy being in when most of the healing is happening, because they get so connected to the higher realms, if you will, that this in a way drops out of view. But your subconscious will still hear Doug, and he will still be able to bring you back, when he is, that place in the meditation. So I invite you to not be afraid, just enjoy it.
You can do this really quickly. I mean, I have done this where I took a half an hour. I don't know how long we actually took for it this time, probably 15, 20 minutes. But you can extend it out. Just keep breathing and just keep enjoying each state. And at the very end, you can also do, we have a relatively small group where we created the torus. Other times I've done it where I've expanded it to include your entire city, your entire state, your entire planet, right? So play with that too, and realize that you don't have any limits in the mental domain. It's up to your imagination, okay? So imagine building it. You personally can build an energy density sphere, energy sphere egg that covers the entire planet, and believe that you can do that. So there's a little practice on will with you, so intentions.
Yes, and like you said, there are no limits. I remember leading clients through meditations where we were connecting to the core of the planet, but we were also connecting our crown to the sun, and then into the solar system, and then into the galaxy and beyond. And the effects were absolutely amazing. And I have had clients where the density grew so thick in the room that I felt like their energy was actually crushing me. So in my guiding them, I just put out a subtle suggestion that, and it's okay that the energy leave the confines of the walls, leave the confines of the windows. And then finally, I wasn't being crushed so much by her beautiful energy field, but it was quite dense. So.
So well, so what was any messages? Did you get any messages that you care to share or no?
That part I'll just leave everybody to you know, enjoy their own. Notice that some things will be signs, symbols, or images that come on the inner eyelids, like Doug, you were pointing out. Sometimes people will hear something. Sometimes information will just drop in whole, especially if they've literally asked a question. And yeah, so that was beautiful. And Doug, thanks for pointing out that these chakras are existing in a hyperdimensional space. And what you just led us through is getting them coupled and in superposition and entangled and in a growing way. And I love how you've shared with us that when we're in this beautiful entanglement of all the chakras, and however broad we go, we are in a superposition of all states. And like you said before, we're experiencing all permutations of every one of the chakras in all these dimensions. So the complexity is immense. And
that's quantum computing 101s.
Exactly. Thank you, Doug, so much. And we'll talk soon.
Thanks for agreeing to work with me on the give me feedback. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. I love this. And we'll probably be doing another part that we'll release to the viewers soon, but I'll share that later with them.